Okay, so I just want to make sure I connect the dots for you. Not only did you see what was aimed through my apartment window in perfect alignment with me at 6:30 in the morning, the layers of engineered light, my enlarged shadow, that was the glowing engineered light, creating the enlarged shadow where you see it rising up to the ceiling, the roof. Excuse me, the ceiling. My shadow was enlarged here. And then you saw the concentrated light. Just like you see this right here, this is impossible light activity. The doors are closed, okay? So this is impossible light that's reaching from a distance. That's the pattern of the blinds, okay? That's impossible light. As I move my hand, I want you to see what my hand is doing. This is my hand, I'm moving it. As I move my hand, this is light that's being aimed through my window. The light source I just showed you was outside of my front door, hovering over my apartment. So there's a couple of things here. This is demonic. This is a sex offender that's monitoring me inside of a closed space. This is very, very demonic. The demon possessed are surrounding me. The state of California is surrounding, in other words, in the state of California, in concert with the people who are surrounding with this unnatural demonic environment, which is going for the prosecution of a sex offender that is also terrorizing you. And it's also terrorism while they're monitoring your documentation, and they continue to engage in this targeting system. But 6:30 in the morning, the entities, the light source is in alignment with this window. And at 11 o'clock in the morning, where do you see it? Is it in alignment with the property building that's like down yonder over there? Is it in alignment with the leasing office anymore? Where I was looking at it when I stood outside and reminding you about the same time at 10:59 a.m. where I'm at Starbucks at Ramona and Holt. No. You see it right over my head as I'm at my apartment. So you're looking at that, first of all, with regard to another venue that I gave you a reminder of in 2022 at the same exact time, impossible. All right, that's the P.O.C. And I'm also reminding you while you isolate the venue to where we're at. Here, today, March 8th at 6:30 in the morning, the entity is suggesting that that's the sun that's rising in alignment to me, despite all of the evidence to the contrary, that that's not the natural environment. They're engaging in the pattern of conduct, and the entity doesn't have any other way to engage in what is an exposed criminal system, and they continue to do so, legally relevant. 6:30 in the morning, rising in alignment to my apartment, 11 o'clock in the morning, right over my head at my apartment. Okay, that's stalking with light. It doesn't get any more specific with that. That's why you don't see it over anybody else's apartment building. It's right over my apartment building as I'm at my apartment building after leaving my office, where, by the way, if it was over the office, I would have been looking in that direction. It's right over my head. Okay, while I'm standing at the front door. And then you're looking at the impossible light on the ceiling. You're looking at my shadow on the ceiling. You're looking at the pattern of the blinds appearing in the hallway at a great distance from the blinds through which engineered light is being shot at a distance in the dark hallway where the sun is outside the front door. All of this is speaking to the pattern of conduct. All right, and it is literally an admission. The people of the state do not have a legal argument. This is what the entity is doing with the people. This is why you're being surrounded with this environment. And this environment is no ordinary instrument of criminality. It's a demonic one, and that's going for what is domestic terrorism. It is also terrorism where the entity is monitoring and group stalking American citizens and doing so via the government. And the government has placed the people of the state, they're in the shoes of the government. They do not have any First Amendment constitutional rights. You're establishing the venue, and it's POC. It's here because you're being surrounded. You're being monitored by everyone around you. All right. It's currently, by the way, 11:26 a.m. And at no time would this even be. This is what I mean by the light has nothing to do with the placement of the light source. This is exactly what I was telling you about. This is an illusion, and you're breaking it down. I'm showing you in every way that it's an illusion because the sun is not outside over my head at Starbucks at Ramona and Hope Boulevard while it's remaining over Alvarado Gardens adjacent to building 1810 for the duration of the day. The two are not happening. That's an illusion. It's not the natural environment. It's the pattern of conduct of group stalking, monitoring, following with an environment, terrorism, demonic, following with an environment, something that's so incredible, nobody would believe it. And nobody, by the way, no minion is going to bring up the fact that you're, of what's going on in the environment. This is something, you're never supposed to notice this. This is absolutely impossible to naturally occur. And it's serving a very specific criminal purpose. And who's stalking in this environment? All right, who's stalking? Never mind this, it's on my bed. Who's stalking in this environment? Because it's stalking. In this environment, it's serving a criminal purpose. You're stalking in that environment. You're surrounding in that environment. And that's the people of the state. The entity is providing ongoing evidence about what the people of the state are engaging in and how they're doing it. And it is speaking to what is a prosecution for terrorism and what is a violent sex offense. All right. It is ongoing ceaseless surveillance inside of the private space. It's ongoing ceaseless surveillance any and everywhere that I go. It is 11:28 a.m. and this is the manifestation of concentrated light appearing at a distance through the closed blinds while the light source is outside of the front part of the apartment. Again, then this is 6 hours after it being in alignment with my apartment at 6:30 in the morning, all of which are the reaching to the same inevitable conclusion that that's not the sun that's bouncing off the window, creating that light on the inside of my office. You already know that, duh. But also how it follows as I move. And that's exactly what you're witnessing as I go to my apartment, and it's over my head at my apartment. And it's also not out the window of that Starbucks, just one venue where I'm showing you what the entity is doing with the light source and what the entity is doing with directed light, and how the directed light actually has nothing to do with the light source. It's another source. It's another method of surrounding with engineered light. But the illusion is supposed to suggest that that's the sun and that that's sunlight. Okay, but then when you carve down even more so, you're paying attention to the multiple shadows that are present at nightfall. You're paying attention to the engineered light that's present at nightfall. You're paying attention to what are the inexplicable manifestations of light in the shade. Like, what is that? How could that ever be sunlight? And it's also not sunlight when you see it appearing on my bedroom wall, and the exterior is supposed to appear as though that's the sun and that's the sunlight. In other words, when the light source is on this side of the apartment, it's not. This is P.O.C.